Story 1. I'm alive because I've been fighting cancer this year. Good luck to everyone hoping for death. If I could pass my cancer to you, I would. Story 2. Hopefully, I am out of this crippling depression I have been in for the last 4 years. Story 3. I am hopefully nearing retirement. Depending on the economy, that may not be realistic, but I can hope. Story 4. In 5 years, I hope to reach a point where I no longer have to worry about food, shelter, and clothing, and can instead focus on spiritual matters beyond the basic necessities of life. Story 5. I am traveling in my vehicle, searching for the perfect vacation home while driving across my homeland and exploring the United States, something I have always wanted to do. I am already in a good place, so I just have to keep moving forward. Story 6. I am afraid to think about it. The current course seems to be going nowhere. Story 7. I hope to get a decent job in the industry I studied for. Story 8. Realistically, I will probably still be right here. Hopefully, I will be in a better place to live. Story 9. Where? Right where I am. I hope my older son will have graduated by then and my younger son will be studying something he loves. I also hope my cats will still be around and that my wife will still love me. I want to remain successful at my job, and I hope I will still be making music with people I like. Story 10. This thread will probably be full of depressing topics, so I will lean on the optimistic side. Hopefully, by then I will have finished the book I am writing and be well into the sequel. Now that I am done with college, my free time has really opened up. Just have to make myself do the work. It is difficult for me due to executive dysfunction, which is why I am still not finished after almost 12 years of intermittent work. I am rewriting the first book now, so there is a good chance I can continue to make progress. Story 11. I hope the trade I am about to be trained in goes well. Story 12. Live a happy life without depression or anxiety. There is no need to stress about money. Story 13. Passing fully as a girl and exploring the world with just my backpack and whatever money I can scrounge up along the way. Story 14. Celebrating the 5-year anniversary of when you asked this question. Story 15. Having a partner by my side to share this sometimes hellish life and an apartment. Story 16. 5 years is a simple answer, to be earning an income. I'm not in my 20s anymore, and I'm looking for light. Story 17. I hope to be with a partner who loves me, in a healthy relationship, and to have a job I love that does not make me worry about finances anymore. Story 18. I hope to be competing for a Division I National Collegiate Athletic Association swim team in my junior year of college. I am training as hard as I can to get there. Story 19. Debt-free or mostly so. I will probably need a new car by then. Story 20. I am 38 and in mechanical engineering school pursuing my second degree. My first degree did not pay the bills. I lived paycheck to paycheck with 2 jobs. I hope this pays off. I have been poor all my life and I am tired of it. I am crying as I type this. I want a dependable car that I do not have to constantly work on. And when it does break, I want to have the money to take it somewhere for repairs. I want a nice small apartment that is all mine with no roommates. Right now, I am living with my mother at 38 and I feel like a failure. People say good for you when I tell them I am back in school, but it often feels condescending. I do not know. I just want to feel like I have enough. I am willing to move anywhere in the country. I want to live in a city with culture and things to do, and I hope a decent makerspace is not too much to ask. I just want to feel like I am succeeding. Story 21. Some great replies here. I'm seriously thinking about my future. I might actually achieve home ownership somehow. I want to spend time on my hobbies and with a close group of friends. Story 22. You know the opening scene of the Terminator movies with all the skulls? That is probably what it looks like. Story 23. Hopefully $20 is not a big purchase that I have to think twice about. Story 24. I am hoping to retire in a little over 3 years. My health has not been the best. My heart is the main concern. I plan to retire early to enjoy as many years as possible with my wife and to take it easy. I have served in the Air Force for over 33 years and have always wanted to fly. But my eyesight ruled that out. The main thing I want to do is obtain my private pilot license. I would also like to travel a bit, mainly within South Africa, and possibly take 1 or 2 trips abroad. South Africa is a beautiful country, and I would love to explore as much of it as I can over the next few years. Story 25. Becoming a millionaire in terms of net worth will not happen without hard work. Story 26. I will be happy if I have a job I do not hate and no stress over money. Story 27. When asked where I see myself in 5 years, my answer is the same. At this company, having advanced to the next sensible job title, usually 1 or 2 levels up. For example, if you start as a coordinator, you could say you hope to be a senior widget maker in 5 years, with an eye on proving yourself for more management responsibilities. Story 28. Here I am, doing the same old thing, only with greater debt. Story 29. If we can maintain our jobs and standard of living by then, I will be happy. It is really hard to stay on top of inflation and the general cost of living. On a positive note, I will have 1 child almost finished with high school and the other entering high school. It will be the end of an era of caring for young children. I also hope to still be going to the gym and to remain in good health. Story 30. I want to work 4 hours a day remotely by the beach. Story 31. I am surrounded by dead people, not by my own doing, of course. Story 32. In a fucking house that we own rather than this bloody apartment. Story 33. I will be Emperor of Brazil, but only if I manage to get my bachelor's degree in emperorship by next year. Story 34. I hope I am in the same place but just a little bit healthier. Story 35. I hope to be working on some sort of railroad with a basic car and a low-rent apartment. Story 36. I am 17. When I am 22, I want to graduate from university with some solid work experience and a decent job right away. That is fairly optimistic. Story 37. Doctor of Philosophy completed and now in slightly more stable but still precarious employment. Story 38. I would like to be married or engaged, to have a child or be planning to become pregnant, and to be licensed in addiction counseling. Story 39. Free and living in a new house far away from our current neighbors. Story 40. Married and running a successful creative business that's thriving. Story 41. My hopes and realistic expectations do not align. What I hope for is not much, but even realistically it is not going to happen. Story 42. 1 or 2 additional income streams, another child, new passport stamps, and a hobby to replace League of Legends. Story 43. Retired with my wife somewhere warm. I have about 7 months left and then fuck it. Story 44. I changed careers to something more fulfilling that I am passionate about. Story 45. Finally retired and running a manageable, profitable hobby-type business. I'm staying up later, sleeping in, and doing what I want. I spend time in the woods and on the water with my pup. I'm trying my first all-inclusive vacation. I have lots of plans, all pretty simple. Story 46. I have finished school and will most likely become the manager at my current job. I live on my own. Story 47. I am retired. I spend my days working on my classic vehicles and riding my motorcycle around the neighborhood. In the evenings I dance with pleasant older women or sit on my patio with a Jack and Coke in one hand and a large cigar or spliff in the other. Story 48. I hope to be an independent adult, have enough money to support myself, and be taking all the classes I need at a good college. Story 49. Hopefully in a place where I am able to feel happy and mostly anxiety-free. I would like to have a good job and a home to call my own, even if it is just an apartment. A partner would be nice too, but I do not want to rush that since I am going through a breakup right now. Story 50. Hopefully, I am just 7 years away from achieving my early retirement goal. Story 51. I want a house and maybe children, a six-pack, to be rich, and to catch up with my list of anime and Steam backlogs. Oh, and maybe a really smoking hot dog. Story 52. The first author has published multiple times and is successfully managing a laboratory and conducting research, all without a Doctor of Philosophy degree. Story 53. It is sad that so many people talk about being dead. I want to live to at least 80. I have no idea where I will be in 5 years. I hope to be alive and healthy, enjoying the earth and all its beauty, remembering my beautiful friends and pets who have crossed into the ethereal, and hoping not to have another mental breakdown. Story 54. As someone who has health anxiety, my answer is alive and healthy. Story 55. I'm kind of watching my dreams come true at the moment, which is really exciting and a little bit scary. I seem to be on track to make my very big dreams a reality. Here's hoping. Story 56. With an electrical engineering degree and a financially stable household, I do not have to choose between gas and cigarettes, and I can buy my daughter the best head start I can give her. Don't you dare go hollow out there. Story 57. Married to my current girlfriend, financially stable and possibly living in a house I own. Story 58. I was asked this question 5 years ago at a job interview. I hate this question. I said happy and it worked. I am happy. Story 59. I hope to be in a better place financially and mentally, but I am not sure it will happen. Story 60. I want to be surrounded by a loving, healthy, beautiful, and wealthy family. Story 61. I have a Bachelor of Science in accounting. My wife and I have our first child and are building a house in the country. Story 62. Still above ground, I hope. Anything else is negotiable. I spent my entire life working to make other people happy. Now it's time to go have some fun. Story 63. Having a job, some security, and being free of smoking and drinking, hopefully for a few years. Touch wood. Story 64. I am 64 years old. My answer is above ground without getting into politics or insurance issues. Story 65. Be at peace with myself and my emotions, especially with the mistakes I made in the past. Story 66. I want to start a family. I just got my dream job making $120,000 a year, so I can support a family. I think it may take a while to meet the right person, but I hope not. I'd love to be a dad, and I want my children to have a really solid mother. Story 67. I never hope to be anywhere. I figure if I want to be somewhere hard enough, I'd probably be there right now. Story 68. Still too mean to die. Neither heaven nor hell wants me. Both keep kicking me back here. Story 69. I am married, own a house, have 1 or 2 children, have had 1 or 2 promotions, am better at my hobbies, am in better shape, am better groomed, and have a few new friends in a broader local network. Story 70. I grew up on a homestead with many acres, working on my great-uncle's ranch. I should have started my life that way. Trying to make cities work is a mistake. Story 71. A Tony Stark-style life with robots, jets, lasers, and an armored suit. I am a simple man with modest dreams. Story 72. In 5 years I will probably have a home and a child, and be thinking about how many children we want. I was thinking 2 or 3, but I don't know. You have to get through the first one before deciding. Financially, I have been saving, so retirement might be feasible then, but it would not be comfortable. Story 73. Right here in my apartment, I'm giddy to have survived Trump's last term, amazed that he stepped down, and weepy when I think of the new Madam President in the Oval Office. I'm crossing my fingers. Story 74. I am retired and not fighting the climate wars or my neighbor over a can of peas. Story 75. Hopefully, I have reached $10 million in annual revenue and have 10 employees in my roofing company, so my wife does not need to work anymore. Story 76. Honestly, I'm not living my life anymore, and I'm too depressed to consider having a partner again. Story 77. I would be happy either in my own home instead of a rental or traveling on vacation to a different continent. Story 78. Just chilling like a villain. Eating well, making and experiencing art. Story 79. I want to secure a job and settle down somewhere. I am a young environmental professional, and much of the work is seasonal and can take me all over the country. I have worked in Vermont, California, Kansas, and several other states in temporary positions. I want a full-time job that pays well. Story 80. I am mostly retired from nursing and split my time between Indiana, where my house will be paid off or nearly paid off, and Southeast Asia. I am back in shape and working on my oil paintings. Story 81. Happy, healthy enough, and loved. I do not know how realistic that is, but I am holding on to hope. Story 82. I want to live outside the state I currently live in a more progressive state, while continuing to use my degrees to earn a living and make a difference. Story 83. I hope I am still hanging around. I am 68 next year, and I have had some health issues, but time is healing me. I hope that we do not lose Social Security and Medicare under the new administration. I also hope to move closer to family. Story 84. 5 years closer to retirement, which will then be 10 years away. Story 85. Writing a television show and is either married or dating at the very least. Story 86. Divorced and living a bohemian life abroad. It will not take 5 years. Story 87. I bought an apartment for my fiancé and me. Our wedding is coming up soon. Story 88. I am in the same place I was 5 years ago, enjoying a good job and traveling the world with my friends. Story 89. To do whatever I want without the fear of running out of money. Story 90. I'm getting ready to retire in 6 months and already have a date in mind. Story 91. I have a job I like. I pay for my own home and have paid off my car. I am in good shape, have learned a handful of cool new skills, have a girlfriend, and have a few pets. Story 92. I am breathing, able to see and walk, and my husband and 2 sons are alive and well. Story 93. Paraphrasing one of my favorite movies. Living in your house with your ass buried under the porch. Story 94. I hope for a promotion and higher pay. I am a night patrol security guard at a small company of 8 people. I have been with the company for 5 years and have taken on extra responsibilities by providing field training since the owner had a stroke and can no longer drive. The company is being sold to a larger firm, and the prospective owners have promised that everyone will keep their jobs, so there may finally be room for advancement. Story 95. Alive on Earth, still breathing mostly nitrogen and oxygen. Story 96. 5 years into my job, which starts next March, I will be saving and investing so that one day I can finally go to Japan and never leave. Story 97. By then, I will have graduated, be working a steady job, have gained muscle, and have found a partner. Story 98. One more step up the corporate ladder. 80 pounds heavier and healthier than ever, with my hairline not an inch higher. It's crunch time. Story 99. I want to release an album in Los Angeles if I can ever get out of Kentucky or Australia alive. Story 100. Is it strange that I do not really have aspirations? I am okay with things staying the same and do not mind if they are unchanged in 5 years. Story 101. I want to make music that people will love. I do not know how to produce music. I only know how to sing. Story 102. Married, serving in the state senate, and able to support a family. Story 103. If life keeps going well, I will work part-time while caring for our 2-year-old in the house my husband and I own. But just because that is our plan now does not mean it will actually happen. We need to see what happens over the next few years and whether housing prices come down. Story 104. I would like to be expecting my first child, be debt-free with my house set up exactly as I want, and still be happily married. I think that is all I could ask for. Story 105. I have a net worth of about 800,000. I would say my first million, but that would take a bit more work and a lot of luck. Regarding life as a whole, I want to keep doing what I do now, but better. I love my home, car, clothes, social circle, and hobbies. I would choose securing my current lifestyle over upgrading it in a heartbeat. Story 106. My house is paid off, my child is 7 years old, and I have the freedom to travel with my family and be much less stressed. Story 107. A job where I can save without dipping into my savings. I am married to my best friend and we have a child. This keeps me going because I received some bad news today, and I need to remind myself I have this to look forward to. I have to keep going. Story 108. Financially stable with a partner, a pet, a home, hobbies, a group of friends, and better mental health. These are the bare essentials, and I did not have any of them growing up. I see myself living a successful life by my own standards. It will be hard, but I have always made it through. Story 109. Married with children, started my own business, and both of my parents are still alive. Story 110. I want to increase my salary from $28,000 a year to around $50,000. I am a low-income college graduate and would like to change that. Story 111. Alive, sarcastic, and hopefully with better wireless internet. Story 112. At least a little happier and healthier than I am right now. Story 113. If you are the human resources representative interviewing me and asking this question, I would like to be your boss in 5 years. Story 114. Mapping out a new 5-year plan for when whatever I am doing now inevitably fails. Story 115. I have been employed for 5 years. I just got hired after 1 year of unemployment and I am happy. If I could manage being happy and taking care of my family without being employed, that would be better, but you did say realistically. Story 116. I am the father of a happy and healthy 4.5-year-old, possibly with a younger sibling. I hope my wife is thriving as a mother and in her career. Story 117. Being happy, healthy, wealthy, and full of love, with low levels of stress and plenty of free time. Is it realistic? If I take the proper steps and develop the right mindset, absolutely. Story 118. Realistically, I want to pursue my passion for teaching, buy my first home and settle down with a family. Happiness is key for me. Story 119. I suffered from severe epilepsy from 2018 to 2021. This year I decided to make the most of this second chance at life, so I'm back in school getting my grade 12 and I plan to enter an engineering program next year. Hopefully 5 years from now I'll be graduating and making my late father proud. It's never too late, folks. I'm only 26, and I honestly didn't think I'd have another chance when I was having multiple seizures a day. As long as I am seizure-free, I am not too worried about the future anymore. Story 120. Either alive and well or eternally sleeping in the ground. Not sure yet, but either option sounds good right now. Story 121. I do not know. I am happy and content. I am not in a bad place right now, but as I get older, I become more anxious about the future. Story 122. Somewhere safe where I can find a wife and spend time writing instead of working frigging retail. Story 123. I am free of my $24,000 in credit card debt, with nearly $20,000 in savings. I am healthy enough to not need my continuous positive airway pressure device. I am cycling regularly and possibly having an active sex life. Story 124. I hope to be by the side of someone I truly love, lying in their arms with peace of mind. Story 125. Getting paid wages above the poverty line for a job I do not just tolerate but love. Hopefully this means my YouTube channel becomes popular because right now progress on monetization is slow. Story 126. In my first relationship, I wanted to get a job or study something I was passionate about. Story 127. We want to live in a nicer home in a better neighborhood. Where we are now is fine, but we do not want to settle for being just fine. I would like our net worth to double before we make that move. Story 128. I am in a good place. If I am in a similar position after 3 years of growth, I will be happy. Story 129. Out of the hole. The past 5 years have been disaster after disaster and I am wiped. In 2024, I was charged with driving under the influence in January after 2 drinks. I spent $8,500 on a lawyer to get it pleaded down to reckless driving, which is not a felony. 8 months later, 2 hurricanes hit my state within 2 weeks. My car was totaled. The insurance representative I spoke to when I purchased my State Route 22 certificate, which is proof of financial responsibility you file after a major traffic infraction such as reckless driving, told me the policy he approved included comprehensive coverage and liability. I asked if I still needed my old policy and he told me to cancel it. 2 months later my car was totaled in a flood and I now have no insurance. The Federal Emergency Management Agency says it cannot provide assistance to anyone whose losses are insured. The agency also told me they only provide assistance for car damage to people who already have insurance, which makes no sense. Now I am on probation. My car is totaled with no insurance and I still have a $14,000 loan to pay. I am taking ride sharing to get to work, and I still owe $1,300 in court fees and have 40 more hours of community service to complete before July. In 5 years, I better be in a nicer living situation, sober, in better shape, with a big savings account built up. We can make these changes. We can reach the goals we set if we stay focused. I hope you all get what you want, except for everyone who said they wished they would be dead. Stop being dramatic. Story 130. I will not be in jail. I hope to have a more permanent place to live and to have earned a master's degree. I also hope to have a job. Who knows? Story 131. These days I mostly hope to stay alive. I was diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer this year at age 35. Before my diagnosis, I hoped to be in a committed relationship, to own a place, to be in a good position in my career, and to be further along with my hobbies, especially playing guitar. I still hope I can have some of those things, but mostly I hope to be alive. Story 132. I have finished my nursing degree and am living in a very nice apartment or townhouse. Story 133. At least 3 more albums. I am able to do 1 through 4. I am receiving training to become a Jungian analyst. My stock and cryptocurrency portfolio is around 1 million United States dollars. Story 134. I am working in networking and hope to earn more than $55,000. $45,000 per year in California is not enough. Story 135. We want healthy kids who share mutual love with my wife and me. Everything else we can figure out. Story 136. I hope to still be alive, living with my partner in a home rather than renting. I am satisfied with my current job and lifestyle and hope to maintain that or something similar. There are plenty of hobbies I would like to get back into. My story is not as intense as some others I have read in this thread. Best of luck to those battling cancer. Story 137. I am married and continuing my journey to become less stressed about money and to maintain a healthy weight. Story 138. I'm alive. I had my first heart attack this year. It was not a pleasant experience, but thanks to modern medical technology, one got to see my own beating heart pumping while it was still in my chest. It beats the old-fashioned Aztec practice of showing a person their own heart. Laughing out loud. Story 139. I am not stressing about money, am married, work in a better job that is an actual career, and may have 1 child. Story 140. Instagram guy looking for comments like, in your arms. Story 141. Still among the living. Anything beyond that will be a nice extra. Story 142. A stable job, a healthy and active routine, friends I can count on and laugh with, and last but not least, a significant other I would love dearly by my side. Story 143. I live in my new house. We plan to start construction next year. Story 144. I had cancer twice in 4 years, so I hope to be alive for another 5 years without any medical issues. At this point, I am just happy to be alive. I'm not making long-term plans or getting sad when I do not reach certain goals. Bad things happen and can derail you, so make sure you can pick yourself up when you fail and keep moving forward. Story 145. I want a well-paying job, a house, a cat, and to be on my way to getting married. I plan to get a cat next year, but I do not have much hope for myself. Story 146. I have successfully finished my demanding university degree, secured a good job in that field, and have a nice home and a loving girlfriend. But right now, all of that feels very far away and almost impossible because of my current state of mind. Story 147. Realistically, alive. Everything else in my life is a flaming dumpster fire right now. I will be pleasantly surprised if something does not take me out. This is not a reference to self-harm. I am referring to a stress-induced heart attack or a similar condition. I'm sorry you are feeling so overwhelmed. Are you safe right now? If you are in immediate danger or thinking about harming yourself, please call your local emergency number right away. If you are in the United States, you can call or text 988 to reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you are elsewhere, please contact your local emergency services or a crisis line. If you want, I can help find local resources or continue editing this text. Story 148. I am in a home and have a car of my own with the financial freedom I never had. I am treating myself better mentally and physically. All my debt is paid off. I can afford to repay my mom for everything she has done for me. I will be in a much better place than I am now. Story 149. I am semi-retired, living on 1 acre of land or a well-designed urban homestead, growing plants and raising animals by day and reading in my den at night. Story 150. I am back to my original self, having grown from some mentally altering experiences I have had to live through during the last 4 years. I am content and stable, both financially and spiritually. Story 151. I will graduate from nursing school in 2026. I want a decent job and a house of my own. Story 152. I hope to get out of this small town and have a decent job in a big city. Story 153. Smoking a bowl somewhere warm. I hope it's warm and the weed is good. Maybe a milkshake to go with it, a beefcake, and some good shoes. Story 154. I hope to be in a committed relationship and working toward completing law school. Story 155. Jesus. This post reached many people with cancer. I hope all of you recover. Please come back and post if you do. Story 156. I am 41. I had a tough start and am only beginning to properly integrate into society. I built my own organization that enables people to get out of poverty through creative work and self-development. It is self-funded and has employed over 10,000 people. In 5 years, I want the community to own it, with me serving as a co-lead taking it national across the United Kingdom. I want to have pivoted from surviving to thriving in all aspects of my life. I also want to be on stage to speak about how I went from homelessness to making my first million by helping people. Story 157. The same house, job, car, kids, and wife. Just 5 years closer to retirement. Story 158. I am already in a good position, so this will probably seem out of touch. I am scaling a business that should grow exponentially. I have developed a program and an investment platform that will have a significant impact on investing. The returns on investment have earned me a few $1,000,000 so far in personal testing accounts. We are about ready to offer client accounts to the public, which I expect will increase my share of revenue by about $1.4 million in 2025. In 5 years, that should be closer to $15 million, assuming we maintain a client acquisition rate similar to our current rate without offering this program. In 5 years, I hope to receive an offer to buy my ownership of the program that I cannot refuse, or to be making plans to buy a skyscraper in a major city. Story 159. I live in my own place with my partner and have had a couple of job promotions. After a long, bumpy period of physical and mental illness during which I did almost nothing for 6 years, I am now working full-time in a job I like and am well on my way toward my goals. I still struggle daily, but I am happier now and making progress. Story 160. A well-paid position, homeownership, and no financial concerns. Story 161. I hope to have less daily physical pain and to be more functional, but given how things are going, that probably will not be the case. I will settle for not being drastically worse. Story 162. I would like to attend college with my current boyfriend and live with him. Story 163. Camping. I have a 1.5-year-old and I absolutely love this phase of life he is in. I am in no hurry to rush it and am soaking it all in. I cannot wait to take him camping, but I am not interested in doing it until he is a bit older. Story 164. I had planned to retire in 3 years, but because of the anticipated spectacular incompetence and corruption of the incoming Trump regime, I cannot risk it. I expect I will be clinging to my job with the same desperation I have now. Story 165. I am hoping to land a full-time community college position somewhere in the Pacific Northwest, British Columbia, or the San Francisco Bay Area. Right now, I am in Fresno working 2 part-time community college jobs and barely scraping by. Story 166. I am in a good place in my career, immersed in a creative project and surrounded by community. Story 167. I am in a pharmacy residency program, preferably in psychiatry. Finals are killing me right now. Story 168. This comment thread needs therapy. I hope all this talk about death is just angsty hyperbole. Story 169. I have completed my bachelor's degree and am applying to veterinary school, preferably Colorado State University. Story 170. Not dead yet. My mortgage is under $150,000. Credit card debt is gone, and, fingers crossed, superannuation has doubled. Also, any pet I have must use a litter box or go in the garden. I am tired of stepping in old cat poop from cats that missed the box. Story 171. I am debt-free and no longer living paycheck to paycheck for the first time in my life, about 15 years later than I originally planned. Story 172. I do not know about 5 years or how I will pay my bills this month. I was just laid off and it has been really hard. Story 173. I hope to survive the next 4 years and get closer to the fire. Story 174. 6 months ago, I would have said I was doing my job. Honestly, right now I have no idea. Story 175. I want a great job doing something I enjoy and a happy family around me. An orange cat would be a plus. Story 176. I am in a healthy and financially secure relationship with my boyfriend. We moved in together and are creating our future. I am spending more of my free time on hobbies and learning new skills. I have at least $20,000 in my checking account and $10,000 in my savings. I am less depressed and less anxious from my trauma. Story 177. My children will be a 20-year-old male, an 18-year-old male, and a 16-year-old female. If we survive, anything is possible. Story 178. If I could find a way to just be happy in the next 5 years, then everything will be okay. Story 179. I finished my doctoral degree and am conducting meaningful research while earning a decent income. I hope the research will be useful to everyone. Story 180. I wish humanity had the ability to leave this planet and explore other worlds. Feeling trapped on Earth fills me with anguish every day. Story 181. It does not matter where. As long as my wife is by my side, things will be just fine. Story 182. Realistically, I would have won the lottery and would be basking in the sun on my own island. Story 183. I would like to be in a comfortable home with my dream job that pays well enough so money is not a concern. Story 184. Retired. Both children are in college and no longer part of the daily drudgery. Story 185. Far away from society, where all I have to worry about are chickens, cows, and my personal computer staying functional. Story 186. I hope to have finished nursing school. Remind me in 5 years. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.